Please welcome our host for this evening, Debbie Wileman.
And she showed me all of Ann Miller's jewellery, which was an absolute thrill. And we were going through the drawers and everything, and it turned into a great day for Rita as well, because as we were looking through these drawers that she didn't go through all the time, because I was a big Ann Miller fan, she was like, "Oh, honey, I'll show you. I'll do." I was like, "Ooh, how exciting." And we were going through these drawers and looking at bits and bobs that she didn't usually get out. I was looking through them and I saw this box and I said, "Oh, it's pretty. What's this?" We opened it up and inside, Rita burst into tears straight away. I had found inadvertently Rita's pink diamond ring that she'd lost, and she'd been looking for it for over a year. And because she'd just happened to be being kind to me and showing me things she knew that I would like, we stumbled across her ring. And she was so happy that, I think this just shows the measure of the lady, she gifted me one of Ann Miller's rings. She was like, "Oh, I can't believe it. Honey, here, you choose." And I'm wearing it today. And I treasure it, and I think of Rita every time I wear it. And that's just my little remembrance of Rita. And I think it shows the type of person she was: generous, kind, fun, funny, forthright, and friendly. She was so friendly. And I was so lucky to be made to feel welcome in her home, hanging out with her hubby all the time, And so that's just me. But I'd now like to invite up our first speaker of tonight, the person who knew her the longest out of everybody here, her sister, Nancy. Nancy?
All right. Hello. A while ago, a recent while ago, my husband, Joe, lost someone that was close to him at a point in his life. And it brought us to this really interesting discussion of the phenomena of life that kind of reflects people at different stages of their growth, right? So we grow, we evolve, and we definitely change, so that each of you, right, knows a little screenshot of Rita, but that screenshot that you might know of Rita is probably different than yours, depending on, right, when she came into your life. So we just thought it was an interesting conversation and a way to look at the progression of all of us. So with that in mind, I'm going to share a little bit about screenshots that you may not be aware of. One of the things I wanted to do straight away was dispel the myth that Rita started her career in high school productions. She did not. She started her career in the backseat of our family 1952 Dodge Coronet, right? And this car had a bump, that bump, that hump that was in the back. Yeah, you guys are like, yes, yes. Well, that was my spot. That's where I sat, right? And Rita was like sprawled out in the back, right? Like the whole back seat. But it was okay, because we used to play a game called Jukebox. And where we grew up in New Jersey, in diners, there were these little jukeboxes, right, in the booths with the metal page turners. And if you put a quarter in, you could like play 3 songs or something. Well, okay, we used to play the game Jukebox, and it went like this. So the rules were, I would try and trick her into a song. I would name a song and she would have to sing it. But there were very strict rules. I had to get the entire name of the group out. She couldn't start singing it, right, before I was finished. And it had to be done like within, a minute, right? She was about 14, I was about 10. Okay, so of course I would torture her, right? And I would be in my best like Brooklyn voice. I would be like, today I want to hear, and then I would be like, who do I want to hear? I want to hear Lesley. No, I want to hear. And she would be like looking at me, right? Because Rita doesn't lose. And she would be like a tennis player, right? Waiting for the ball to come, right? And she'd be watching me. And then finally I would say, I want to hear the Everly Brothers. And within 1 second, she would be like, bye, bye, love. And that's where she got her start. So, we grew up in a really small house. It was a 2-bedroom house. And so for the first 18 years of her life, we shared a bedroom. And like many siblings, across the globe, I guess. We sat in our little, or laid down in the dark, right, in our little twin beds, and we shared our hopes and our dreams and our wishes, and our fantasies and our fears. She did, actually. We both went to that Catholic high school. Because it was all girls, the girls had to assume the roles of the guys, right? So my sister's first production was Camelot, and she became literally King Arthur. And even to me, I was mesmerized by her King Arthur. And I knew then, that determination and that grit and that singularity, right, of purpose that she had, that hyper focus, was going to be something that was going to be really marvelous to watch. And it most certainly was. I have this magnet on my refrigerator at home, and it says, life is not about finding yourself. It is about creating yourself. And my sister was not only creative, but she was a creator. She created herself as many times as she needed to accomplish what she wanted, right? And the goal that she had in mind. She was a force, and she was a fierce force sometimes. I mean, she could go from being inspiring and stimulating to terrorizing and exhilarating, and that was in like the first 2 minutes of a phone call, right? But she, I miss her, and I'm so happy to see all of you here tonight to celebrate her. Thank you for coming. Yeah.
Thank you, Nancy. Next, I would like you all to welcome Rita's oldest friend, and by which I mean they were friends for the longest time, not age, no shade, Chris, Mr. Christopher Powich.
Hi, everyone. I'll talk quickly, okay? I am Rita's longest running friend, as Debbie said. We do not use the O word around here. I met Rita in the early 70s, just a few years ago, backstage at a musical in East Lyme, Connecticut. And I remember saying, wow, this lady is a breath of fresh air. And this was in Connecticut where neither of us belonged. And her personality was way too big for the staid backwaters of New London County. You can't take the Jersey out of the girl. We did local and regional theater at Theater by the Sea in Matunic, Rhode Island, along with the late, great Michael McGraw and the glorious Rebecca Spencer. Hi, Becky. Where Rita's famous spaghetti dinners were a hit for the actors after the show. She worked at UConn's Nutmeg Summer Theater, where she starred in Gypsy and Anything Goes. Guess which roles? And tons more theater. She just had it. We even performed together in productions of Showboat and The Most Happy Fella, in which we played the comic romantic interests. Ah, youth. We went on to create a nightclub show called Class Act, which toured only the best Holiday Inns in New England. That's where I got to meet her sweet kids, little Derek and little Jennifer. They couldn't wait to get out of Connecticut either. I eventually moved to New York to work at Paramount Pictures. Rita would come down to audition in New York. She was getting great reception, and the casting agents were saying, "Oh my God, you sound exactly like the Broadway star Ethel Merman." And then she would wind up not getting the part because she sounded so much like Ethel Merman. At Paramount, I read in the trades that they were thinking of making a movie about Ethel Merman's life. So I did what any theater fanatic would do. I tracked Ethel Merman down and got her on the phone. Talking gingerly after the pleasantries, which were few on her part, I asked, "Well, who is going to play you in the movie?" Crickets. And then, "Well, I am, honey." My plans for Rita were dashed, so I called her and I said, "Well, then let's just write a show for you about Ethel Merman," which we did. And it was called Call Me Ethel, later at Ethel Merman's Broadway. We opened at Don't Tell Mamas in New York City, and the New York Times raved. They launched us, and the raves followed us all over the world, even performing at Jan McCart's Theater in Key West, where we met the company manager, Scott Stander. Foreshadowing, foreshadowing. It was the show that really put Rita on the map. Rita wound up moving to LA, where she also had an illustrious career in movies and TV, which other people will talk about. But Ethel was our baby, and it was a runaway smash, mainly because of its brilliant libretto and those glorious songs, but also because the lady was so perfect for the part. She was Ethel Merman. Rita was truly a force of nature, as Nancy said, even when she was peeved about something. And of course, she would let you know. She would still make you laugh because the Jersey girl would really come out, and that cadence was just meant for laughter. You could never have more fun than on a night with Rita. As her dad, Edwin, used to say, "Reet, you're a good time." I was privileged to share many of her triumphs and, of course, her challenges. And through them all, she was still that same dynamite, unique Rita, my buddy. As Cole Porter wrote for Ethel, "What say, let's be buddies? What say, let's be pals? What say, let's be buddies? And pick up each other's morals. I may never shout it, but many's the time I'm blue. What say, how's about it? And I be a buddy to you."
You know who this is? This is Rita McKenzie.
Hello, everybody.
I was lucky enough to introduce Rita when she opened at the El Portel Theater not too long ago. And she does the most incredible Ethel Merman. I mean, she knocked my socks off. I went, "Oh my God, this is Mom. I mean, she's so fabulous."
Thanks, Mitz.
And if you ever get a chance to see her, it's Rita McKenzie on Broadway, right?
Yes.
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 And don't miss it because she looks like her. And her clothes are divine, darling. And she's really, really wonderful. And also, she's my agent's wife.
She bought its good heavy hair, like If you want to know what Ethel Merman was really like, it will never get any better than this.
Who could ask for anything more?
It's Rita McKenzie's job to look, act, and sound like New York's queen of Broadway, Ethel Merman. As the star of the one-woman show Ethel Merman's Broadway, McKenzie is crazy for Ethel. So's the United States Postal Service. Today, in conjunction with the release of its popular Singer Stamp series, the Post Office sponsored a Merman Sound-alike contest.
Rita McKenzie portrays Ethel Merman in a one-woman show.
She was a woman before her time. She was a businesswoman. She got out there and she planted herself on that stage, and everybody felt great. And that's what I remember Ethel for.
I got rhythm, I got music, I got time, and who could ask for anything more? I got daisies in green pastures, I got time, and who could ask for anything more? An old man trouble, say I don't mind him, you won't find him running around my front or back door.
Nailed it. One. Fantastic. From looking at some of the photos that we've seen of Rita already today, you'll see that in some of them, she's a brunette, and in some of them, she's a blonde. And for those of you that don't know, there was a particular job that was the reason for this change. In the 90s, Rita was making a film with Rodney Dangerfield called Meet Wally Sparks. Starring in this film alongside Rita was Cindy Williams from Laverne and Shirley. Cindy and Rita became fast friends and made plans to meet up for a shopping trip after the filming had wrapped. A few weeks later, Rita received a call from Cindy at home. Rita assumed that this was for the shopping trip, but it wasn't. Cindy was now part of the new Jenny Craig campaign and had called Rita up with the words, "Hi, Rita, I'm doing this commercial and I need a fat friend." Oh, Rita was like, "Oh, okay." And she went along and she did the advert. The people from Jenny Craig loved Rita and they thought she was brilliant. Rita was just about to start the 50th anniversary tour of Annie Get Your Gun. And the Jenny Craig people called her up and they asked her if she wanted to actually try the Jenny Craig plan herself. Well, Rita did. She threw herself into it, and the Jenny Craig plan completely changed her behavior as regards food, eating, stuff like that, her look, and actually it changed the way she lived her life. It was rather like a reincarnation. She overhauled everything, and Rita went from brunette to the blonde bombshell that she became. And after, she was part of a hugely successful 2-year campaign with Jenny Craig because of it. And here are those commercials now.
Hi, Joanne.
Cindy, you look great.
Thanks. I've already lost 12.5 pounds on Jenny Craig.
That's a big picture.
Well, that was big me. Do you have that in black?
Sure.
I
just fit in a smaller size.
A smaller size.
Oh, my waistline looks fabulous. Even my fingers are thinner.
Call 1-800-96-JENNY.
Hello, Jenny Craig. I'll be right over. A while back, I was hired to do a Jenny Craig commercial. I was the fat friend. This was me 37 pounds ago. Now, I love my job and everything, but I was tired of being the fat friend. So I called 1-800-97-JENNY, and I lost 37 pounds. Do I look great or what? Hey, all you casting directors, need a skinny friend? This was me 37 pounds ago, because in my family, we said I love you with food. Ma said it with her lasagna. Nana said it with her triple fudge cake. I was her favorite. This is what all that love did to me. I called 1-800-97-JENNY, and I lost 37 pounds. It's a great program. Great food, personalized support, even tasty dessert. Hey, Ma, next time flowers, okay? Yuck, the outfit. Another plus size. I mean, what's plus all about anyway? Plus what? Plus more than you want to be. So I called 1-800-97-JENNY, and I lost 37 pounds. The program is fabulous. I've never looked or felt better. Now this is me.
Rita McKenzie for Jenny Craig.
Let's talk one-on-one. Jenny Craig's one-on-one. You see, one-on-one support could mean the difference between your weight loss success and failure. I should know. I failed on my own about 100 times. I even joined that group program, but I just got lost in the crowd. At Jenny Craig, I was never lost because my consultant helped me lose every one of my 37 pounds.
For a limited time only, lose 19 pounds for $19.98 plus the cost of food. Call 1-800-98-JENNY today. Jenny Craig, the difference is one-on-one.
Here's exciting news you'll love. It's Jenny Craig's new ABC program. ABC is a big change for Jenny Craig. This is the best news I've heard since I lost 37 pounds with Jenny Craig.
Now starting is as easy as ABC. Call 1-888-JENNY-ABC today. That's 1-888-JENNY-ABC.
Next, we have a video message from Rupert Holmes.
In 1989, I was a cast member in a play I'd written at the Pasadena Playhouse. The play's run was extended for several months, and next door to the main stage, the Balcony Theater, was a wonderful young woman in a one-woman show that the audiences gobbled up. The show was called Call Me Ethel, and it was working next door to her that I was first introduced to the warmth and the charm and the power and the wit and the humanity that was Rita McKenzie. She was the kind of person that you dreamed of having as a friend, as entertaining and dazzling offstage as she was on. And I tell you this, I remember the cast party. I ended up volunteering to play cocktail piano, and I bought champagne for the entire cast because it was Rita. And I thought to myself at the end of the evening, gee, I'd rather be Rita's friend than Ethel's friend. Over the years, Rita played many roles in many different theaters across the United States, and she always connected with her audience warmly and powerfully. These last years, I was honored to work with Rita and her beloved husband, Scott Stander, in a new capacity when they commissioned my play about the life of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. During the show's development and its rehearsals, Rita's savvy insight as a consummate professional were constantly helping to shape the work into the success it ultimately became. As I've said before, it bears noting that the tribute that I wrote with Rita and Scott to an amazing woman bears the imprimatur of an equally memorable woman, the incomparable Rita McKenzie.
I'd now like to welcome up producer and friend, Mr. Al Lichtenstein.
The reason why I've never been on stage. I've always stage managed, but I remember the first time I met Rita in New York was a restaurant. I walked waiting for her at the restaurant, and she knew how to make an entrance, and she just lit up the whole room. And we sat down and we discussed her coming to Detroit to play 10 weeks of Ethel Merman's Broadway at the Gem Theater. It was a huge success, but the most successful part of it was I got to meet Rita. She made me feel funnier, smarter, and excited to be alive. I can never get enough of Rita. I always looked forward to coming out here, sleeping in the pool house. And she just had that gut feeling of being someone who cared, someone who listened, and I'll miss her every day, and especially that belt. And the main thing as a producer I enjoyed about her, she never missed a performance. Thank you very much.
And now a video from Sam Harris.
Hi, this is Sam Harris. In 1992, my writing partner, Bruce Newberg, and I had the great fortune to put up our show, Hurry, Hurry, Hollywood, up in La Mirada, a big, fat, old-fashioned musical set in the 1930s. There was a primary role, Phoebe Farber, your guide to the stars, who was a gossip columnist, like a Hedda Hopper. And when Rita came in to audition for us, that was it. She was the one, no need to see anyone else. Rita was a force of nature. This hurricane of talent and personality and bigger than life. And she sang her took us off. She was extraordinary, and everyone loved her. She stopped the show every time she was on stage. And I adored her, I loved her, and was a fan and a friend. And then the following New Year's Eve, Rita and I did a show together at the same theater, bringing in the new year. We sang duets, we sang separately, but it was funny and fun and warm and loving. And I loved, personally, finally being able to share a stage with her. I miss Rita with all my heart, but I will never, ever, ever, ever get over the power and the beauty and the talent and the humor and the joy that Rita brought to our production and my life.
It's lovely. And next we have another video from Mr. Michael Orland.
Hi everyone, I'm Michael Orland, and I just want to say I have such amazing memories of my time with Rita McKenzie. It was just glorious. I felt like I was working with just a showbiz legend because she just had that whole old Hollywood sense about her. And I know in her Ethel Merman show, she used to talk about how, Ethel Merman would, open a show and they'd call her Birdseye because her performance was frozen. She had that quality too. It was so fun to watch her every night. You could literally time your watch to her when we were doing Ruthless together in 93, 94. And we would try to crack her up any way we could, and nothing ever threw her, except I think one time they did get her, and it involved a whoopee cushion. And I think it was the only time she ever got written up in the stage manager reports, because she prided herself in not ever being written up in the stage manager reports like Lauren Freeman and Joan Ryan did all the time. Anyway, just so many memories. I remember one night, it was actually the night before the big earthquake in 94. We all went to Cheesecake Factory, and we like everyone from the cast, the whole group, and we were all hanging out there. It was literally, we all were saying goodnight to each other, we'll see you later. And there was a homeless man sitting outside the restaurant on the street, and I remember Rita offered him her food, and he said, "What is it?" And she told him what she ordered, and he said, "Oh no, thank you, I'm lactose intolerant." And it's like, he didn't want her food. I would have eaten her food. And it was just so many laughs and so many great times flying somewhere and doing a concert with Rita, and it was all about the fun. And I loved, even at sound check, she never marked. She just did it. Everything was out full, and she just loved it. And it was just all joy. And I certainly miss her. And I just have the greatest memories that I will always have with her. So I'm blessed for that. A really beautiful memory I have of Rita is when we were doing a show with the symphony in Florida, and we were running a song called The Melody Inside that was written by her longtime musical director, Bob Bendorf, who was such a talented man. I knew him in New York, and he had just passed. And I remember, I think it was the first time we heard like this orchestration in a long time, and I remember her not being able to get through it. It was really moving and stuff, and it was such a beautiful song, and it's a performance of Rita's I'll always remember.
And well, we heard her spoken about just then. I would like to introduce, from the original cast of Ruthless here in LA, Joan Ryan to speak a few words.
So, Mike, I had the best time with Rita doing Ruthless, and Michael Orland alluded to the story with the whoopee cushion, but I thought that I would elaborate a little bit. So Rita never cracked, much like, not like the rest of us, because we always cracked. We were having such a good time. And Rita was unbelievable. She never missed a cue. She never laughed. So Lauren Friedman, who played Sylvia in the production, and I were determined to get Rita. And the stagehands and Michael Angel had made a doll of Judy Denmark, the character I played, that was perfect. The hair and the apron and the shoes and the pearls, everything was perfect. Only when you squeezed her tummy, it was a whoopee cushion. So Lauren and I had this great idea that when Rita comes to sing I Hate Musicals, which all of you know, she did so brilliantly, that she comes over to my character, Judy, and she goes, honey, well, I can't do Rita, but, and she sits down on the sofa, but Lauren and I put the doll under the cushion, and it was a sold out house. And I thought, if this doesn't get Rita, so I'm like looking up at her, and she sits, and it wasn't just like a little, it was like, so she sat down on the doll and she burst out laughing. But in true Rita style, she did not miss a beat. She just laughed through the whole song. She was like, ho, 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 ho. It was hysterical, but that was Rita. I did get written up that night again. But one of my favorite memories that Rita gave me my one and only nickname, because she used to say to me, you know, honey, you can't hold a grudge. People do terrible things and you just never hold a grudge. You don't get mad at them. And I said, well, it's because I don't have that good of a memory. But she called me Joni Teflon. And every time she said, because bad things never stick to you. And so whenever I would see Rita, she says, there's Joni Teflon. So anyway, that's my favorite Rita story.
Thank you, Joan. And since you worked together on it and you mentioned the song itself, we're going to be treated to watching Rita sing I Hate Musicals.
Where's my granddaughter? I'm afraid she's being punished. I must be in the wrong house. What's all this trouble about my granddaughter being punished? Darling, have you been naughty? Oh, I love this kid. This much. This much. Oh, here. If you think I've driven all this way to sit through some
Brilliant. Next, we have a surprise addition into the video joy. Bernadette Peters, you might know, is starring at a show in town at the moment. And in between shows, she recorded a little message, especially for tonight. And we'd like to show it now.
I want to say a few things about Rita. She was fabulous in Ruthless. She was wonderful to work with. She was hysterical as Lita Encore. Her pipes were phenomenal. And all I can say is happy trails, Rita.
We would like to resume tonight's festivities with a video message from the lovely Barry Bostwick.
Scott, Barry Bostwick here. Oh, what a year you've had. What a life you've led. And what a love you continue to have for Rita. Sometimes I think, why can't I marry you to have that kind of attention and love and affection and graciousness and gratitude that you had for Rita and have for Rita right now. I first met Rita at the Capitol 4th years ago in Washington, D.C. And I knew there was a force, not only personality-wise, but her voice, the strength of character, and the talent. I was blown away. And over the years, as I have gotten to know Rita and gotten to know you better and better and better, all I can think of is what a wonderful combination the two of you brought into the world. And the care that you had and have for everybody in your life is a reflection of the care and gratitude and that you've had for Rita, still have for Rita, and all of the friends who make up your world. So I am honored to have been a friend of Rita's and to be a continuing friend of yours, and will you marry me?
We have a wonderful artist who makes a career out of breaking the rules. Her name is Rita McKenzie, and they're still talking about her electrifying performance in Ethel Merman's Broadway.
I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy, a Yankee Doodle do or die. A real live daughter of my Uncle Sam, born on the 4th of July. I've got a Yankee Doodle sweetheart, he's my Yankee Doodle joy. Yankee Doodle went to London just to ride the ponies. He is that Yankee Doodle boy. Sing along! I've got a Yankee Doodle sweetheart, he's my Yankee Doodle joy. Yankee Doodle went to London just to ride the ponies. He is that Yankee Doodle boy. Please join me now and sing this next song as proud Americans. God bless America.
Brilliant. I would now like to welcome another speaker this evening, casting director and friend, Mark Paladini.
Thank you. Yeah, we were neighbors from like 97 to 2005. We were just down the block on Morrison Street. And we just loved just walking by and saying hi. And but my relationship with Rita goes back further. Before I was married, my first casting job was the casting director, the West Coast casting director for Big Brother Jake. And there was a little sitcom that was shot on the East Coast. And one of my old friends, Dan Studney, was sometimes writing on the show. And but he lived here and he dragged me to see Ruthless. Oh my gosh. I mean, as inspiring as she was just now, she was as talented a clown as Bert Lahr. I mean, honestly, just absolutely amazing. And Dan was like, I'm writing this song for an episode that we're using her for. It's a musical of Ethel Merman and Ernest Borgnine's love affair and marriage. And I'm like, what in the world? He's like, well, so Big Brother Jake was this, it was this like domestic comedy about an African-American woman with a very diverse group of kids. And one of the kids was very diverse. He wrote this musical about Ethel Merman. And Jake, who had a tin ear, and you can see this song on YouTube. It's called Earnestly Earnest in Love. I highly recommend seeing it just because she is such a pro singing opposite Jake, who he knows he's not like a big singer or anything. But anyway, I also did some other TV here. One of the things that we brought her in for was a pilot with Don Rickles and Richard Lewis, and it really needed someone who Don Rickles could like throw a zinger at and they wouldn't just melt. Well, Rita McKenzie was the perfect person for that. And this was before Jenny Craig. So his exit line was something like, oh, vertical stripes, good idea. And she was just like fantastic. Honestly, we frequently had like big personalities in projects like Rodney Dangerfield in Meet Wally Sparks. And I don't think Rodney actually remembered her in the casting session because he was like so stoned during the casting sessions. And then the day before we started, he was like totally lucid. And we were like, oh my God, he's here. And it was around then that he ran into Rita like at a costume fitting and started talking to her. And he's like, hey, this broad's funny. We got to write more lines for her. And the role just got much bigger. I mean, honestly, I was like, wow. When I saw the movie, I was like, wow. And Rita was terrific in the movie. And then that's where, of course, she met Cindy Williams, and then the whole Jenny Craig thing happened. And I just loved seeing her on those commercials. It was really inspiring to see that. And then recently, of course, All Things Equal, the life and trials of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She was the associate producer on that. And she was like, in the casting session, she goes, you guys, you got to make sure this is entertaining. And we're like, okay. And I really do, as Rupert said, I really do think that her input in that helped shape the show in its development. And then the last thing I want to say is that in addition to our resumes sort of crossing, she used to have parties here, and like my wife and I, we used to come here. This is before we were even dating, and we learned like one of the biggest lessons from Rita, and I pass this on, and she passes it on to all kinds of people. And this is like a little pearl of wisdom that from Rita to you through me, which is she would like say, This is Tracy, Tracy Katz. Her best friend is Jeff Blumenkrantz. You did a 3-penny opera with Sting in him. And then they'd start talking. And if you've ever been to parties here, you see everyone, like little pockets of people talking. And it's because she created that. She created that by creating community. And, you know, she was talented, and she was the hostess with the mostest.
Oh, Rita, my dear friend, I miss you. We had such good times together, both on stage and off stage. You always had my back. I'll never forget the shower you gave me for my puppy, who was coming from Australia. It was beautiful. It was just like a real baby shower. And that time when we were doing The Odd Couple in Florida, and we went to a spa for manicures, and they were awful. It was just terrible. We almost lost fingers. We came out into the lobby, and you said, "Barbara, sit there." And you went back in, and I had no idea why you were going back in. But you came out, and you handed me my money and said, "There, we're done." Oh dear. I'll never forget flying to London opening night of a play, and then taking the train through the Channel to Paris, all the while knowing that you needed a kidney transplant. You were one of the bravest humans I've ever met, and had the biggest heart, almost as big as your beautiful singing voice. I miss you, Rita.
That was a video message from Barbara Eden. So thank you, Barbara. That's lovely. I don't know what's coming next. It should be Renee Taylor. Who knows? We'll find out.
There's no business like show business, like no business I know. Anytime I hear that song, I think of Rita McKenzie. I'm Renee Taylor, and I was her friend for 12 years. She played my daughter in the Bermuda Avenue Triangle, and she was so real and funny and hilarious. I said, "What's the matter?" And she said, "I'm acting, Renee." And that was Rita. She played Ethel Merman for longer than anybody has ever done it. And I would get shivers just hearing her do it, because when I was a young girl, I had seen Ethel Merman play Gypsy, and it had inspired me to become an actress. And Rita had this energy of inspiring anybody who heard her. I saw her many times in Odd Couple with Barbara Eden, and she was so hilarious in that too. And I was married 5 times, 5 different religions, with my husband, Joe Bologna. She was always my bridesmaid, and she always made me laugh. The thing that we had most in common was she was madly in love with her husband, Scott Stander, and I was madly in love with mine. Not that we didn't fight. We both fought with our husbands, but we would compare fights, and we would give each other lessons. And I hate to admit it, but I was the better fighter because she would give in to him too easily. But I'll always remember her with love and affection. She was a wonderful, loving wife and mother and artist, and I'll miss her very much.
Next, we have a compilation of moments from Rita's working life, along with a song from Ruthless, which we thought was quite fitting.
Hello, Mother. I love company. Some girls like to cook and sew. When she cooks, it's in her show. She was born to entertain. Hey, how you doing over there? Some girls prefer to help mom clean. She'd rather learn a dance routine. She was fine to entertain. Instead of walking, she goes flapping. When she tasks, she makes it happen. Mom says she has Broadway on the brain. Don't get too comfy in your seat. When she struts or stop, you'll be on your feet. She was born to sing and dance. Not every showbiz Cinderella has got to come from Pocatello. Her star will rise like bubbles in champagne. By now you know her one ambition. It ain't to be no mathematician. She was born to amuse, from the tip of her nose to the top of her shoes. So strike up the band and hand her head and her cane. For she was born to entertain.
Thank you. So, another musical treat. I'm bigging myself up. They're saying that that was a musical treat. Another musical act, at least. Now you've got a treat. I would like to reintroduce you all to Joan Ryan, and she's going to sing for you.
So, David Snyder is going to play, and this actually is Scott and Rita's favorite song.
Don't ask me just how it happened. I wish I knew. I can't believe that it happened. And still, it's true. I got lost in his arms, and I had to stay. It was dark in his arms, and I lost my way. From the dark came a voice, and it seemed to say, there you go, there you go. How I felt as I fell, I just can't recall, but his arms held me fast, and it broke the fall, and I said to my heart, as it foolishly kept jumping all around, I got lost, but look what I found.
That was beautiful. Well done, Joan. Thank you. Now we have a video message from Lesley Ann Warren.
So I didn't have a lot of time with Rita. I got to know her later in her life, and that was my loss because she was fabulous. And we met on when I was on the road with Scott in one of his shows, Dance to the Movies. And that was a brief meeting. And then when we were back in LA, all of us, we had dinner with my husband and Scott. And I really did get to know her. And she was just a funny, sassy, smart, take no prisoners kind of gal, like me. No, yeah. Anyway, she was a force. I mean, you all know this about her, but I learned it in that dinner. You know, she was very open with me, and I had, you know, it was really the first time that we got together in a real way. She was open about her challenges and what kinds of things she was struggling with and going through, and I so appreciated her vulnerability in that way. She never felt sorry for herself, or at least she didn't express that, and it was a great quality because she could have, you know, but she didn't. She was a warrior to the end, I think. I totally admired her talent. I saw her in Ruthless. Before I knew her, I saw her in Ruthless, and I actually saw Ruthless twice here in LA, and it was she was fantastic, you know, bright, shiny, funny, you know, full of piss and vinegar, just a wonderful performer with a fabulous voice, and a sense of comedy timing that was, you know, unequaled. I'm really sorry that she's not here, because I would have loved to have got to know her so much better and for so much longer. So rest in peace, beautiful Rita.
That was a lovely video. Thank you. I would like you all now to welcome some very special people to Rita, as everyone here was, but this is Rita's daughter-in-law and her eldest grandson, Vanessa and Mason Pflug.
Hi, I'm Vanessa. I am Rita's daughter-in-law. Rita was a loving mother figure in my life that I absolutely adored. We loved watching The Housewives together and getting caught up in all the Hollywood gossip. Our favorite thing to do with a little cocktail. I'll cherish all the life lessons that she has taught me during our late night conversations, because she was a night owl. Always awake at night, and we would have our conversations. And I'll hold all the memories that we created close to my heart. She was thrilled to become a grandmother. That was like the best day of her life. Her grandboys meant the world to her, and she knew it. She showered them with unconditional love that has helped shape them into the young men that they are today. They had grandma wrapped around her fingers, and they knew it, and she loved every bit of it. Rita was an amazing mother-in-law and an amazing grandmother. However, her greatest gift to the world was, what meant to her the most was being an amazing mother. Her children were her everything. And she raised this beautiful, sensitive man that has made my life and my children so incredible. And just for that, I will forever be grateful. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mason, Rita's first grandson. My grandma loved everything, especially all of her grandchildren. This was the song she wanted to be played at her celebration. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
Remember me, though I have to say goodbye. Remember me, Don't let it make you cry, for even though I'm far away, I hold you in my heart. I sing a secret song to you each night we are apart. Remember me, though I have to travel far. Remember me each time you hear a sad guitar. Know that I'm with you the only way that I can be, until you're in my arms again. Remember me. Remember me, though I have to travel far. Remember me each time you hear a sad guitar. Know that I'm with you the only way that I can be, until you're in my arms again.
That beautiful song is from the film Coco, and it was a favorite of Rita's. And I'm very glad I didn't look at that, because I watched it and Scott sent me that compilation. And if I'd looked at that, I wouldn't have been able to sing a word. Thank you so much to everybody who's come today, who's watched, who's come up here and said such wonderful words or said them on the screen. It's really been beautiful. And I would really like to now introduce the person who has brought us all here today, Mr. Scott Stander.
Thank you all. Thank you for coming. It's very special to see all these faces, all the love. She's here. She's here. She's celebrating. I just want to tell you a story. There's also something written about it, but I just want to tell you real quickly. As preparing for this, it's been a year, and I was putting some of our master tapes away from our Varese Saraband record days, you know, those big old tapes that weigh a friggin' ton. Like, what are we going to use these? I knew everything that was on there, and I was putting them up in the closet, thought, take them out of the garage, and I was putting one up and the second one. And I went to put the third one up on the ladder, and it felt like somebody knocked my hand down, and the tape went falling to the floor, and I thought immediately, oh shit, the marble floor, she's going to kill me. And then I opened it up to make sure the tape was okay, and I opened it, and there's this one sheet that said the melody inside. It said track 4 vocals, track 7 piano. I thought, Rita thought, never told me, that the song that was written for her by her musical director, Robert Bendorf, for her birthday, thought it was gone. She did it only in symphony, so it was never recorded. And I was like, wow, oh my God. So we then saw if there's anything on the tape still available. It's only 30 years. He called, we had this great, beautiful, pristine voice, one take. And so I said, I have to do this. I called David Snyder, her musical director, and I said, I think we can do this. What can we do? And so we're like, okay, we'll get the orchestra. I have the charts. I'll go through, I'll find the charts. What I got to send the charts, get the band, get the orchestra. And so he got an orchestra in Indiana, and he put it together, and it's just amazing. 30 years later, her voice, will continue on. On the 25th, it's going to be released for her birthday. So it's now my present to her for her birthday. And it's available for everybody to download, do whatever they want. All the proceeds from that will go to Broadway Barks, because that is the charity, one of the charities, because she loved her fur babies. And so what a way to celebrate and give back. And so I want to share with you what we've accomplished, what David did with his beautiful arrangement, rearrangement, and conducting this in the symphony world that he did in Indianapolis. And then we found some video of Rita singing it with symphony. And it's kind of, because she was very, like I said, bird's eye. So it might work. It's, still being worked on, but we're going to share it to you tonight. This is the first time anybody is hearing it. And it's called The Melody Inside. And this was her true melody inside of her. So play it.
There's a voice inside my head, and it won't be still. It's a gentle voice, and yet it's always there. And I'm sure I've always heard it, and I'm sure I always will. If you listen close, its echo fills the air. It's the melody inside, the tune I sometimes doubt, that plays around my heart until I have to let it out. With little to rely on, there's one thing clear and true. My song just helps me hear the melody inside of you. When I get a little lost in the world outside, there's a tender voice that says, don't go too far. You can travel
Well, that was gorgeous. And I think we've just seen she could have been an absolute kick-ass Disney princess. Don't you think?
I just want to say he didn't get credit, but the gentleman who wrote the song took the bow at the end. And unfortunately, he died of AIDS too soon to see this moment. So, Bob Bendorf. What a beautiful song.
Gorgeous. The Disney film that never was. Or maybe still can be. Wow. So, we're coming to near the end. And if everyone, I'm sorry, internet people, but if everyone here would like to now follow us to the poolside patio area behind for a champagne toast and a special presentation.
Does everybody have champagne? So Derek's very shy. I broke up already. This is a tough day. This is Derek Pflug, Rita's son, and who's the father of those gorgeous children and that beautiful wife of his. Anyway, so we're here, and we're so glad you all are here. And we wanted to send Rita off in this beautiful weather we had today, this beautiful California weather. And I thought about booking her on this intergalactic tour. And so it's been extended indefinitely. So she is somewhere up there, maybe that star or that moon, and she's doing her performance. And just maybe when you look up there and you think about Rita, she might be winking back at you. And she is always around us. Her energy, her force, her love is with us. It's in us forever. And I'm so grateful for the 34 years I've had for having this great kid who's an amazing, amazing man that she has reared in every way, shape, and form. And he has now reared his two beautiful kids to carry on. And that's what it's about. It's so about that. So I want to play this one song that she loved. It was a song that she did in her Ethel Merman's Broadway. She loved it because there was musicians around her, and she loved her horn instruments, and it was fun. And there's a costume in the house that she used to wear during that number. And those costumes, by the way, were redone when we did the show with Al Lichtenstein and in the DuPont Theater, John Gardner. We spent a few dollars. And Eric Winterling in New York did the most amazing costumes for her. Ready? Okay, so here we go.
Come on in here, Alexander's Ragtime Band. Come on in here, it's the best band in the land. They can play a bugle call like you never heard before, so natural that you wanna go to war. That's just the bestest band, what am? Oh my honey lamb, come on along, and let me take you by the hand. Up to the man, who's the leader of that band. And if you can't hear that Swanee River played in ragtime, come on in here, Alexander's Ragtime Band. Oh my honey, better hurry and let's meander. Ain't you going to the leader man, rag and beat a man? Oh my honey, better hurry to Alexander's grandstand brass band. Ain't you coming along? Come on in here, it's the best band in the land, so come on in here, Alexander's Ragtime Band. Come on in here, it's the best band in the land. They can play a bugle call like you never heard before, so natural that you wanna go to war. Ha! That's just the bestest band, what am? Oh my honey lamb, a doodle-daddle-doodle-daddle-doodle-daddle-doodle-doo. Come on along, and let me take you by the hand. Up to the man, who's the leader of that band. And if you can't hear that Swanee River played in ragtime, come on in here, Alexander's Ragtime Band.
To Rita McKenzie, we send a toast to you. Let's all toast. L'chaim. Thank you, everybody.